What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So I just finished watching episode 3 of season 3 of Mandalorian. My reaction will be up on my YouTube memberships, and that is for members only. If you are not a member, I suggest you go over there and check it out because I've got some goodies over there for my members. I've got 2 levels of memberships over there. Level 1 is for $2.99. You get priority replies from me, special polls, and live streams. And level 2 is for $4.99, and you're going to get everything that level 1 has. Plus, you're going to get all of my reactions to shows like this, any movies that I may watch, and all of my uncut try not to laughs. So most of this episode hovered around the scientist, Dr. Pershing. But in the beginning, we see, of course, that where episode 2 ended, Din Djarin, Mando, and Bo-Katan was in the mines, in the what do you call it? I call it the magic water. The waters that supposedly aren't there. So she asks him about, if you guys remember, there was something down there when she went to go rescue him. Something with a big old eye. It was something down there, and she saw it. And she eventually asked him, did you see any living thing? He was just like, no. And he was like, why? She was like, nothing. So she didn't even tell him what she saw. But she knows that something's down there. And I want to know what it is. But anyway, so they end up leaving, and they get chased out by I forgot, what do you call them? Of course they were bad guys, bad robots or whatever, or androids, whatever they are. So they ended up shooting them down. But then as they were escaping after they shot the last one, he saw on his radar that there were a lot more on its way, and something or someone was sent to just blast her house. Like, Bo-Katan's home is gone at this point. So she gets upset and she wants to go after them, but there were too many, so they ended up going away. So anyway, we ended up switching scenarios, and we end up seeing where Dr. Pershing is. So they switched him from one institution to another, which is a new one. And in this institution, it's almost like he's the newbie and he's not doing his normal stuff. It's almost got him like a regular, just like everybody else, which he doesn't like. You can see that he's very uncomfortable. So he ends up coming across a group of other, I guess, I don't know if you would call them colleagues or other people that are there. And one of them is, I don't know, I forgot that she worked at IT or something like that. But anyway, I felt like something was bad about her, and I know I've seen her face before. Like, I forgot what it was, but she's being all nice to him and everything, and I'm just like, yo, something, like, she's up to something. I don't know. So they're all having drinks and sharing things that they miss and stuff like that. And the doctor, the scientist, Dr. Pershing, he was just like, yeah, I missed those little biscuits, the travel biscuits. And so they laughed it off or whatever. So anyway, he's in his room and he gets, like, I guess his door rings or whatever. There's nobody there, but there's a big black box. And in that box, there's those travel cookies or whatever, the travel biscuits. So I'm pretty sure he has an idea of who sent them. So after that, he really wants to do what he does best, right? So another point, he's walking around with, what's her name? I forget her name, but they're walking around and they're talking about the past, and they're talking about, you know, how they feel being there. And he said he feels out of place, and she says she feels special. And in my head, I'm like my feelings about it was up and down, and I'm like, yo, like, maybe she's being sincere, but then other times I'm just like, I don't know, I'm not getting the real good vibes from her. So throughout the whole episode, she's basically convincing him to do what's right, to do what he feels he needs to do to help the New Republic. So he's like, he's too goody goody. He doesn't want to sneak around. He doesn't want to do anything he's not supposed to do. Um, and so she asks him, what do you need? And he tells her, and they're getting, I guess they get evaluated after every shift or something like that by this android who, they're asking him like all these questions, like, are you feeling some type of way towards your colleagues? Do you feel any negative feelings? Do you have any depression? Things like that. And he's like, no, no, no. They did it twice. The second time, he was really upset. And he does this whenever he's like stressed or something. I think I'm kind of watching, and he's just like, no, I'm not feeling anything. And he gets upset because he asks, if it's possible to do what he does to help the Republic, but because his stuff had to do with cloning and things like that, it's prohibited. So he's getting antsy because he's just like, he basically feels like he shouldn't be there. And he doesn't really know why they transferred him. But this chick is like really pushing him to get to do whatever he has to do. So he gets upset, and then he's like, all right, let's go get what I need, because they have to sneak outside of their borders to go get the stuff. And I'm assuming that where they went was the old Republic, or where the old Republic was, or the old ship. So they sneak on the train, they sneak out, like she's doing all these things that he's not comfortable doing, and he's like so out of place. And she's like, she's done this before, she's not scared or anything. So then they end up running off the jumping off the train because they didn't have the ticket, because they snuck up on it, and they ended up landing where the ship is. So they're going in there, and he gets really excited when he sees like the, I guess, the lab and everything that he needs is there. So then they hear some rumbling or something, and she's like, it's just the ship settling. So he puts everything in the box, and they get ready to go. And so she's kind of like helping him sneak out of there. When they get out of there and on the other side, they get stopped, but there's like a helicopter or something over them. There's, I guess, what I'm assuming are cops. And they're like, put your hands up, put that down, you're under arrest or whatever. And she's just kind of looking, and he's all scared and everything. And she like grabs the box, turns around, and is looking at the scientist as if to say, like, I'm sorry, this is the way, type of thing. And she walks off. I'm like, oh, I freaking knew it. Oh, I knew it. She set him up because she wanted those things, or they want those things to do whatever they're going to do at that institute for themselves. I knew that no good was going to come out of that. So, anyway, um, so they end up putting him in this thing. It looks like an MRI machine, but it's not. He knows what the machine is because he's seen it and experienced what it is in the old Republic. So he's in this machine, and he knows that this machine basically erases your memory. So the guy that's there, he's just like, no, trust me, that's not what this is. This isn't the old Republic. This is just gonna help heal you. And it's just like, heal him from what? Like, what do they think that he has? So the girl, she's up behind the glass with the other guy, and she's just sitting here like looking on. And I'm like, yo, she is dirty. And he's yelling like, you set me up, you set me up. And she's just staring at him. So they turn the thing on, and she's telling the guy, can I stay? And he's like praising her for bringing him in and all this stuff. And I'm just like, what? And so um she's like, do you mind if I stay? He's an old friend, and I want to be there for him. So I'm thinking that they initially are trying to kind of heal him from something, but they're not trying to erase his memory. So the guy leaves and leaves her there, and she dials the thing like super high, and all you see is red lights, and she's basically like are probably erasing his entire memory, which is not what they were going to do, in my opinion. So I'm like, oh man, that's so messed up. So anyway, back to um Din Djarin and Bo-Katan. So they end up getting to where all the other Mandalorians are. And he's just like, just keep your helmet on. You'll be fine. You're my guest, but this is where we're going to go. Which is the same place where he gets like his shield and stuff made. So when they went when they were at the waters, he took some water into his uh little canister or whatever to bring them proof. So when he got there, he's letting them know that they know, like, you're not Mandalorian anymore, and neither is she, and he's like, no, I went to the waters, I washed away, whatever, like I'm renewed, basically redeemed myself. So he's like, I brought proof. So he's like, we'll see about that. So they all go in, and I forgot the lady's name who does all, who makes all the stuff. And he gives it to her. She pours it in the water. She sees that they're not lying. So he's been redeemed as a Mandalorian, but not only that, so has Bo-Katan. And Bo-Katan says, I'm not, my way is not like yours. But she was like, have you taken your helmet since you've washed yourself in the water? She's like, no. She was like, then you're good, basically. Like, you've been redeemed. You're one of us now. You can leave whenever you want, but until then, you're here. Basically, your family. You're one of us now. This is where you're gonna stay. So they all embrace her and everything, and it's like, oh, like, that's nice. And she's kind of looking around, and I'm sure she's kind of like she's either confused or she doesn't really know how to take it because she doesn't have anybody else. Her house just got destroyed. So I'm hoping that she kind of feels grateful for it, that she's thankful for it, but I know that she's probably just a little taken aback by it as well. But anyway, we'll have to see what happens in the next episode. But this was really good. I really enjoyed this. Leave your comments down below. Let me know if you guys watched episode 3, what you guys thought, and if you enjoyed my review. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to my channel, hit like, share. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you guys can get notified whenever I pop up on your feed. I'll see you guys later. Toodles!